The stars looked different tonight. Jack Miller noticed it first, standing outside the small military base in rural Montana. The night was clear and cold, his breath making small clouds in the air. Something flashed in the sky. Not a shooting star. Not a satellite. Something else. Jack had spent 15 years in the military. He knew what normal looked like. This wasn't normal. "Hey Frank, take a look at this," he called to his friend. Frank walked over, coffee in hand. "What am I looking at, Jack?" "There." Jack pointed to a strange light that seemed to hover. "That's not one of ours." Frank squinted upward. "Weather? Balloon? Drone, maybe?" Before Jack could answer, the radio in their command post burst to life with urgent chatter. Reports were coming in from bases around the world about strange objects in the sky. This was happening everywhere. "We should get inside," Jack said, suddenly feeling exposed under the open sky. They hurried to the command center where 20 other soldiers were gathered around screens and radios. Colonel Harris was trying to establish contact with higher command. "What's happening, sir?" Jack asked. "Nobody knows for sure, Miller, but we've got unidentified objects over every major military installation worldwide. Pentagon's going crazy." The main screen showed satellite images of massive ships like nothing humans had ever built. They simply appeared in orbit, no warning, no approach detected. "Those can't be," Frank whispered. "They are," Colonel Harris said. "First contact, people." And they didn't bother knocking. Jack felt cold fear run down his spine. Throughout human history, when technologically advanced civilizations met less advanced ones, things rarely went well for the less advanced group. The radio crackled again. "All stations, this is Northcom. Unidentified craft are descending toward ye. Major population centers. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not..." The transmission cut off, the lights flickered. "Sir, we've lost connection with Northcom," the communications officer said. "Get it back," Colonel Harris ordered. "I can't, sir. It's like they're just gone." A low rumble shook the building. Dust fell from the ceiling. "Everybody out now!" Jack yelled, military instinct taking over. They ran for the exits as the rumbling grew stronger. Outside, the night sky had changed. A massive ship, at least a mile wide, hovered directly above them. It was smooth, metallic, with pulsing lights along its surface. "My God!" someone whispered. A brilliant beam of light shot down from the ship, striking the main building. The explosion threw Jack backward. Heat washed over him as the command center erupted in flames. Screams filled the air. "Get to the vehicles!" Colonel Harris shouted over the chaos. Jack helped a wounded soldier to his feet. All around them, more beams of light struck the base. Buildings collapsed. Equipment exploded. People died. They reached the motor pool where a few jeeps remained, intact. Jack helped load wounded soldiers into the vehicles. "Where do we go?" Frank asked, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. "Away from here," Jack said. "Into the mountains where they can't easily see us." As they drove away, Jack looked back at the burning remains of the base. Everything he'd known, destroyed in minutes. His phone had no signal. Radio communications were dead. They were cut off. In the distance, he saw more explosions. The nearby town of Lakeside was being hit too. This wasn't just an attack on military targets. These aliens were killing everyone. 3 jeeps made it out. Just 18 survivors from a 3 days had passed since the first attacks. The world was in chaos. Millions were dead. Major cities lay in ruins. The aliens controlled the skies, striking at will, then disappearing. Lisa Carter stood at the window of the underground bunker beneath what remained of the Pentagon. She had not slept in days. Dark circles formed under her eyes. On her desk sat a picture of her husband, Greg, killed in the first wave when New York was hit. "Ms. Carter, they're ready for you," said a young aide. Lisa nodded and gathered her notes. The emergency meeting of world leaders had been called in secret. Some attended in person, having been rushed to the bunker by military escort. Others joined via secure channels, hiding in their own bunkers around the world. The meeting room was cold and bare. A large table filled the center, surrounded by grim-faced men and women. Screens on the wall showed the faces of those joining remotely. "What do we know about them?" asked the president, her voice steady despite the situation. General Ellis stood. They call themselves the Galactic Hegemony, a coalition of alien species. They've destroyed our satellites, our major military bases, and many cities. Their technology is far beyond ours. Have they made any demands? Any? Asked the British Prime Minister from one of the screens. Yes, Lisa said, stepping forward. An hour ago, they sent a message to all remaining broadcast stations. They want Earth's complete surrender by tomorrow noon. The room fell silent. And, if we refuse? Asked the Chinese president. They'll continue the attacks until we submit or are extinct, Lisa said. They've done this before to other planets. They take the resources and enslave any survivors. So we're doomed either way, someone muttered. Lisa shook her head. No, we fight. With what? General Ellis asked. Our most advanced weapons can't touch their ships. We have something they don't expect, Lisa said. Their message showed they think we're primitive and weak. They expect us to give up. The main screen flickered. The alien transmission was coming through again. Everyone turned to watch. A tall, thin figure appeared. Its skin was gray-blue with large black eyes. When it spoke, its words were translated by a mechanical voice. Humans of Earth, your time expires in 24 hours. Surrender and serve. The hegemony, or face extinction. Your planet will be cleansed either way. Choose to live as servants or die as fools. The president stood. We need to respond. Lisa handed her a single piece of paper. This is what we should say. The president read it, then looked at Lisa with surprise. Are you sure? Yes, Lisa said. They need to understand who they're dealing with. The president nodded to the communications officer. Send our response. The officer worked quickly, establishing a connection back to the alien signal. The president stepped in front of the camera. To the Galactic Hegemony, she said, reading Lisa's words. You just declared war on humanity. Congratulations, your doom is sealed. We will not surrender, we will not serve. We will fight until either you are gone or we are. And we don't lose wars. The alien's face showed no emotion. This is not war. This is pest control. Your primitive species cannot hope to resist. You'll find out how wrong you are, the president replied before cutting the transmission. The room was silent again. Then the Japanese Prime Minister spoke up. What now? Now, Lisa said, we show them what humans do when backed into a corner. We've spent our entire history fighting each other. Now we'll fight them together. Outside the bunker, alien ships passed overhead, their weapons raining destruction. But for the first time since the attacks began, humanity had a plan. It wasn't much. The odds were terrible. But they would fight. The war had officially begun. Base of 200. As they drove into the mountains, Jack wondered if this was happening, everywhere. How many humans were left alive? Was this the end of humanity? No, he decided. This was just the beginning. Humanity wouldn't go quietly. They would fight back. Somehow. The sky glowed red with distant fires as dawn approached. The first day of war had begun. 2 weeks after humanity's refusal to surrender, the situation looked grim. The aliens controlled Earth's orbit, cities burned. The death toll had reached billions. Conventional military forces had been crushed. Jack Miller trudged through the Montana wilderness, leading his small group of survivors. They had grown from 18 to nearly 50 people, picking up civilians and soldiers along the way. They moved only at night, hiding during the day. Jack, we've got a signal, Frank said, holding up their makeshift radio. They gathered around to listen. Through the static, a voice spoke. To all resistance groups, this is Pentagon Strategic Command. We are broadcasting on all emergency frequencies. If you can hear this, you are not alone. Head to these coordinates for further instructions. A series of numbers followed. Jack copied them down. It could be a trap, Frank warned. Maybe, Jack agreed. But we can't keep running forever. We need to find others, fight back somehow. The next day they reached the coordinates, an old mining complex built into a mountainside. Armed guards stopped them. Identify yourselves, a guard demanded. Captain Jack Miller, Montana-based survivor group, Jack said. The guards exchanged looks, then one spoke into his radio. Minutes later, they were escorted inside. The mine had been converted into a massive underground base. Hundreds of people worked at computers and communication stations. Military personnel mixed with civilians. For the first time in weeks, Jack felt hope. Captain Miller? A woman approached him. I'm Lisa Carter, Pentagon Strategic Operations. We've been gathering survivors with military experience. What's the plan? Jack asked. Those things control the skies. Our weapons are useless against their technology. Follow me, Lisa said. She led Jack and his group deeper into the facility, to a large meeting room where maps and screens covered the walls. A man with dark skin and intense eyes was studying satellite images. This is Alan West, former Special Forces, Lisa said. And over there is Olivia Reyes, our computer expert. Olivia barely looked up from her multiple screens, her fingers flying over keyboards. We've been monitoring alien communications, Lisa explained. Olivia managed to intercept some of their transmissions. We're learning about them. What have you found? Jack asked. Alan pointed to images on the screen. They're landing ground troops now. They want our resources intact, so they can't just bomb everything from orbit. That gives us a chance. A chance to do what? Frank asked. Their weapons are still far superior to ours. But their tactics aren't, Lisa said. They're predictable. They follow strict protocols. No creativity, no adaptation. Olivia spoke without looking away from her screens. Their command structure is completely hierarchical. Lower ranks don't make decisions, they just follow orders. Meanwhile, Alan added, humans have been fighting guerrilla wars against superior forces for our entire history. Vietnam, Afghanistan. We know how to do this. Jack looked at the maps showing alien troop movements. You want to fight a guerrilla war against aliens? Exactly, Lisa said. They expect us to fight conventionally and lose. They don't understand human adaptability. We've already had some success, Alan said. Small units hitting their ground patrols, then disappearing. We can't beat their ships, but their ground forces are vulnerable. We need experienced combat leaders, Lisa told Jack. People who can train others, lead missions. Jack thought of his fallen comrades, of the burning base, of all that humanity had lost. I'm in, he said. What's the first target? The mission to Denver was dangerous. Jack led a team of 12, including Alan West and 4 of his own people from Montana. They traveled on foot for the last 10 miles, avoiding alien patrols. The ruins of Denver spread before them. Once a proud city of tall buildings and busy streets, now it was mostly rubble. In the center, the aliens had built their base, a strange dome-shaped structure surrounded by smaller buildings. Remember the plan, Jack whispered as they hid among the ruins of an old office building. We're here to gather information, not fight. Alan nodded. Olivia needs to know what they're bringing into this base. They watched as alien ships landed, unloading equipment and materials. The aliens themselves were tall, thin creatures with blue-gray skin. They moved with precision but seemed stiff, almost robotic. Look there. Alan pointed to a smaller ship landing. That's different from the others. A group of aliens emerged, surrounding what looked like a floating container. They moved with extra caution, keeping the container in the center of their formation. That must be what we're here for, Jack said. How do we get closer? Asked one of Jack's team, a former police officer named Steve. Jack studied the alien patterns. They move in the same routes every time. There's a gap in their patrols here. He pointed to the eastern side of the base. We can slip in there. As night fell, they made their move. The aliens had powerful lights around their base but seemed uninterested in the ruins beyond. Jack's team moved silently through the rubble, reaching the outer wall of the alien compound. Now we wait, Jack said. Hours passed. Then, as Jack had predicted, the patrol pattern left a brief gap. They slipped inside the compound, hiding behind strange alien equipment. The central building, Alan whispered. That's where they took the container. They moved carefully, avoiding the alien's sight. When they reached the central building, they found an entrance with no guards. Too easy, Alan said suspiciously. They don't expect resistance, Jack replied. Why guard against something you think is impossible? Inside, the air was different, cooler with a strange smell. The walls glowed with soft light. They followed a corridor to a large room filled with equipment. In the center sat the container they had seen earlier. It was open now. Inside was what looked like a piece of twisted metal glowing faintly. What is it? Steve asked. Before anyone could answer, they heard a noise. Aliens were coming. They hid behind large containers as 3 aliens entered, examining the glowing metal. The aliens spoke in their strange language, but one word kept repeating. Varian. Jack took out a small camera and recorded everything. Then he signaled it was time to leave. They almost made it. They were at the edge of the compound when an alarm sounded. Lights flashed. Aliens rushed from buildings. Run! Jack shouted. They sprinted for the ruins, alien weapons firing behind them. Energy bolts hit the ground around them, turning rock to dust on impact. Steve cried out and fell. Alan stopped to help him. Leave me, Steve gasped, blood soaking his shirt. Get the information back. Alan hesitated, then grabbed Steve's pack and ran. Jack covered them, firing his rifle at the pursuing aliens. One fell, then another. The aliens seemed shocked that humans would stand and fight. That brief confusion gave them the seconds they needed to reach the ruins. There, they split up, making it harder for the aliens to track them. Hours later, they regrouped at their meeting. Point. Only 9 had made it. They had lost 3 good people, including Steve. Was it worth it? Frank asked bitterly. Jack held up the camera. We'll find out. When they finally made it back to the resistance base, Olivia took the recordings immediately. 2 days later, she called them all to a meeting. Varian, she said. It's their power source, and I think I know how we can use this information. For the first time, humanity had a real advantage. Lisa pointed to a map. They've set up a forward base here in what used to be Denver. Our intelligence suggests they're bringing in something important. We need to find out what it is. When do we start? Jack asked. Tomorrow, Lisa said. Tonight, get some rest. You'll need it. For the first time since the invasion, Jack felt something besides fear and despair. He felt purpose. The aliens had started this war. Humanity would finish it. Olivia Reyes hadn't slept in 3 days. The information about Varian had led her to a scientist named Peter Young. Before the invasion, he had been an unknown physics professor at a small college. Now, he might be humanity's greatest hope. Peter studied the video Jack's team had captured. Varian isn't just their power source. It's their shield technology, too. Every ship, every weapon, every alien base, they all use Varian fields for protection. Can we use this against them? Lisa asked. Peter smiled for the first time. Yes. I think we can create a device that disrupts Varian fields. Without their shields, their technology is vulnerable. How long? Jack asked. A week, maybe 2, Peter Ray said. I'll need parts, equipment. Whatever you need, Lisa promised. While Peter worked, Jack and Alan trained more resistance fighters. People came from hiding places all across the country. The underground base grew crowded. Other bases were established in secret locations worldwide. Lisa coordinated with resistance groups in Europe, Asia, and Africa. Humanity was organizing, preparing to strike back. 2 weeks later, Peter emerged from his makeshift lab, tired but excited. He held a small metal device. It works, he said. We tested it on some alien tech we salvaged. The Varian disruption field extends about 50 yards from this device. That's not very far, Frank said. No, but we can make more, Peter replied, and plant them near alien bases. Lisa called a meeting of all resistance leaders. We need to coordinate attacks worldwide. When the disruptors are activated, we hit them all at once at multiple locations. The aliens won't expect it, Alan added. They still think we're just running and hiding. Plans were made. Disruptors were built and distributed to resistance cells around the world. A date was set, exactly 1 month after humanity's declaration of war on the hegemony. The night before the attack, Jack couldn't sleep. He walked through the underground base, watching people prepare. Some cleaned weapons, others studied maps, many simply sat quietly, thinking about what tomorrow would bring. Jack found Lisa in the command center, reviewing plans one last time. "Will it work?" he asked. "I don't know," she admitted, "but it's the best chance we have." "The aliens have been here 3 months," Jack said. "They've killed billions of us, destroyed our cities, but they still don't understand who they're fighting." "No," Lisa agreed. "They expect us to behave like their other conquests, to accept defeat, to become slaves. They don't understand human determination." Morning came. Around the world, resistance fighters moved into position. Jack led a team back to Denver, where the alien base had grown larger. Peter came with them, carrying several disruptor devices. They planted the devices around the perimeter of the base, hiding them in rubble. Peter checked his watch. 3 minutes until the global activation, he said. The seconds ticked by. Jack's team took cover, weapons ready. At exactly noon, Peter activated his control unit. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the air around the alien base seemed to shimmer. The faint blue glow that surrounded alien technology flickered and died. Alarms sounded inside the base. Confused aliens rushed out, looking for the source of the problem. Without their shields, they seemed less confident, more vulnerable. "Now," Jack ordered. Human weapons opened fire from multiple positions. The aliens fell, their armor no longer protected by Varian fields. Their weapons misfired or failed completely. Across the world, the same scene played out. For the captured alien base in Denver became the new headquarters for the human resistance. Scientists and engineers worked day and night to understand the alien technology. Each discovery brought new hope. Jack watched as Peter and Olivia examined an alien computer system. They had been working for hours trying to access its data. "I think I've got it," Olivia said suddenly. The alien screen lit up with strange symbols. "Their security is surprisingly basic. They never expected humans to use their technology." "What did you find?" Jack asked. "Everything," Olivia said with excitement. "Their plans, their communications, their ship locations, and something else." She pointed to a section of alien text. "There's a prisoner section in this base. They're holding someone there." Jack, Allen, and a small team moved through the base to the lower levels. They found the prison area guarded by 2 aliens. After a brief fight, they accessed the cells. Most were empty. In the last one, they found a single alien. It looked like the others, but smaller, with lighter skin. It backed away as they approached. "We're not going to hurt you," Jack said, though he knew the alien couldn't understand him. To everyone's surprise, the alien spoke in broken English. "You humans, you fight, others not fight." Jack lowered his weapon. "You speak our language? Learn. Listen. Study humans. Interesting species." Allen kept his gun aimed at the alien. "Why are you in this cell?" "I question orders." "Say maybe humans, not animals. Say maybe talk first, not attack. This forbidden." Jack made a decision. "What's your name?" "Krell." "Well, Krell, I think you should come with us." They brought Krell to Lisa and the other leaders. At first, many wanted to treat Krell as a prisoner, but Jack disagreed. He was locked up because he didn't want to kill humans. "I think he can help us." Over the next few days, Krell provided valuable information. The hegemony had conquered 12 other species before finding Earth. None had resisted successfully. "Why are we different?" Lisa asked. "Humans adapt, create, change," Krell explained. "Hegemony same for thousands of years. No new ideas allowed. Follow orders only." This was a revelation. The aliens weren't just physically different from humans. Their entire society was built on rigid obedience and tradition. Innovation was seen as dangerous. "That's why they can't handle our tactics," Allen realized. "They don't know how to adapt to unexpected situations. And that's why their technology, while advanced, has weaknesses," Peter added. "They haven't improved it in centuries. They just follow the same designs." Krell confirmed this. "Last new hegemony technology 500 Earth years ago. Creator punished for changing things. With Krell's help, humans began to understand the alien ships. Peter discovered that the captured ships could be modified and flown by humans. Olivia cracked more of their communication codes, allowing them to monitor alien movements. 6 months after the invasion began, humans had retaken many areas. The aliens still controlled most major cities in the skies, but they were losing ground. In the Denver Base Command Center, Lisa called a meeting of all resistance leaders. "We've been reactive long enough," she said. "It's time to take the fight to them." Jack looked at the maps and plans spread across the table. "You mean attack their ships directly? How?" Lisa smiled. "We've been working on something. Peter, show them." Peter unveiled a large model of what looked like an alien ship, but with human modifications. "We can fly into space," he said. "With Krell's help, we've fixed and improved the alien ships we captured. We've built more disruptors, stronger ones. We can attack their main fleet." The room fell silent as people absorbed this idea. "Space combat," Jack said finally. "Humans fighting aliens in space. If you told me this a year ago, I'd have said you were crazy." "Crazy is what they don't expect from us," Lisa replied, "and that's why we'll win." The plan was set. Humanity would take the next step in this war. They would leave Earth and take the fight to the stars. First time humans fought on equal terms. It wasn't an easy victory. The aliens still had numbers and technology, but the shock of suddenly being vulnerable threw them into chaos. By nightfall, humans had captured 3 alien bases, including Denver. They seized intact alien ships, computers, and weapons. The tide of war had begun to turn. The first human space fleet consisted of 12 modified alien ships. They were smaller than the main hegemony vessels, but faster and more maneuverable. Peter had improved their engines, and Olivia had reprogrammed their systems. Each carried advanced variant disruptors. Jack stood on the bridge of the lead ship, which they had named Defiance. Through the viewport, he could see Earth below, partly hidden by clouds. Parts of the surface still glowed from fires in destroyed cities. It made his heart ache. "Ready, Captain?" Lisa asked. She had come aboard to see them off, though she would remain on Earth to coordinate the ground forces. "As ready as we'll ever be," Jack replied. "Krell says the nearest hegemony supply base is in orbit around Mars. If we can destroy it, we'll cut off reinforcements to their Earth forces." Lisa put her hand on his shoulder. "Be careful out there." "Always am," Jack said with a small smile. After Lisa departed, Jack addressed his crew, a mix of former military personnel and civilian volunteers who had trained for months for this mission. "Today we take the fight to them," he said. "They never expected humans to reach space, let alone attack them there. Remember, we have the element of surprise, and we have something they don't have: human creativity and adaptability." He turned to Krell, who now wore a human uniform and served as their advisor. "Ready?" Krell nodded. Hegemony never lose space battle before. Today, history changes. The fleet departed Earth orbit, accelerating toward Mars. They traveled in radio silence to avoid detection. The journey took only hours with the modified engines. As they approached Mars, they detected the hegemony base, a massive ring-shaped structure with dozens of ships docked around it. "They don't see us yet," Olivia reported from her station, monitoring alien communications. "Their sensors are only pointed outward, looking for threats from deep space. They never thought to watch for ships coming from Earth." "Perfect," Jack said. "All ships prepare for attack pattern Alpha." The human fleet split into 3 groups. One would target the supply ships, another would go after the station itself, and Jack's group would engage any fighters that launched. "Begin jamming their communications," Jack ordered. Olivia activated the system she had designed. "Jamming now. They won't be able to call for help." The human ships streaked toward the alien base at full speed. They were halfway there when the aliens finally detected them. "They're scrambling fighters," Alan reported from the weapons station. 30 ships launching." "They look confused," Olivia said, monitoring their communications. "They keep asking each other if these are hegemony ships. They can't believe humans are attacking them in space." Jack smiled grimly. "Let's add to their confusion." Activate Varian disruptors. The disruptors powered up, sending pulses of energy ahead of the fleet. When the pulses reached the alien ships, their shields flickered and failed. Fire, Jack ordered. Human weapons, a mix of modified alien technology and Earth weapons, struck the unprotected alien vessels. 3 exploded immediately. Others spun out of control. The battle was chaotic. Alien ships moved in rigid formations, following standard tactics. The human ships darted and weaved unpredictably, striking from unexpected angles. Jack's crew worked with perfect coordination, anticipating his orders. "The supply ships are breaking away," Olivia reported. "They're trying to escape." "Not today," Jack said. "All ships focus fire on those transports." The human fleet concentrated their attack. One by one, the alien supply ships exploded or drifted, disabled. The station itself began to break apart as one of the human teams planted explosives at key points along its structure. 1 year after the hegemony first attacked Earth, the war had changed dramatically. Humans had captured more alien ships and built their own based on alien designs. The Resistance controlled most of Earth again. Only a few major alien strongholds remained. But Jack and Lisa knew the war wouldn't end until they took the fight to the hegemony's homeworld. "According to Krell, the hegemony leadership is panicking," Lisa said during a strategy meeting. "No species has ever pushed them back before. They don't know how to handle defeat. More importantly," Olivia added, "we've intercepted messages from other conquered worlds. They're starting to resist too, inspired by humans." The final plan was bold. Peter and his team had built a massive ship they named Humanity's Hope. It combined the best alien technology with human innovations. It could carry a large force and had weapons powerful enough to challenge the main hegemony fleet. Jack stood on the bridge of Humanity's Hope, looking at the crew around him. Humans working alongside a growing number of alien defectors from the hegemony who believed in their cause. "The coordinates are set," Krell said. "Hegemony homeworld is 3 days' journey with our improved drives." Jack nodded. "Begin launch sequence." Humanity's Hope lifted off from the secret facility built in the mountains of what was once Colorado. It joined a fleet of 50 ships in orbit, the largest human space force ever assembled. Lisa, now promoted to admiral, gave the final address from Earth. "You carry the hopes of not just humanity, but all species oppressed by the hegemony. Remember, our goal isn't revenge. We don't seek to destroy them as they tried to destroy us. We fight for freedom for ourselves and others." The fleet jumped to faster than light speed, heading for the heart of hegemony territory. When they arrived, they found the hegemony homeworld protected by hundreds of ships. It was a beautiful planet of blue oceans and purple landmasses, surrounded by orbital cities. "They're hailing us," Olivia reported with surprise. The main screen showed the face of a larger, older version of Krell's species. "Human vessels. This is Supreme Commander Zax Troll. You have violated hegemony space. Surrender or be destroyed." Jack stepped forward. "This is Captain Jack Miller of Earth. We don't want to destroy you. We want to end this war." "Wars end when inferiors submit," Zax Troll replied coldly. "Or when the aggressors realize they made a mistake," Jack said. "You declared war on humanity. We warned you that your doom was sealed. Look around you. We've pushed you back from Earth. We've inspired rebellions on your conquered worlds. Your empire is falling apart. We are the hegemony. We have ruled for 10,000 years, Zax Troll shouted. "And maybe that's the problem," Jack replied calmly. "You've forgotten how to change, how to grow. You tried to conquer us because that's all you know how to do." He gestured to Krell and the other alien defectors on his bridge. "But some of your people remember what it means to think for themselves, to question, to choose a different path." Zax Troll's face showed confusion. This wasn't following any protocol he understood. "We could destroy your world right now," Jack continued. "Instead, we offer peace. End the hegemony's conquests. Free the worlds you've enslaved. Join us as equals, not rulers." Before Zax Troll could answer, another alien appeared on screen, one from a different species. "This is Sub-Commander Val of the Terran fleet," the new alien said. The humans speak truth. I have seen their way. They fight not for conquest but for freedom. More alien faces appeared, representatives from different conquered species who had joined the humans. Zaxtraw looked stunned as his own fleet began to report ships breaking formation, refusing orders. In the end, no final battle was needed. The hegemony collapsed from within, its rigid structure unable to withstand the wave of change inspired by humanity. 1 month later, Jack and Lisa stood before the newly formed Galactic Council, a gathering of representatives from all former hegemony worlds, including Earth. "Humanity did what no one thought possible," said the council leader. "You showed us that freedom is stronger than tyranny, that adaptation overcomes stagnation." Jack looked at the assembled species, former enemies, now allies. "We all have a lot to learn from each other," he said. "But that's the point, we keep learning, changing, growing together." The war was over. A new era had begun. In less than an hour, it was over. The Mars supply base had been destroyed. The remains of alien ships drifted in space. The human fleet had lost only 2 vessels. "Send message to Earth," Jack said. "Mars base destroyed. Hegemony supply line cut. We're coming home." As they turned back toward Earth, Jack looked at his crew's faces. They were tired but proud. For the first time since the invasion, victory seemed possible. The war wasn't over, but now the aliens knew. Humans could fight them anywhere, even among the stars.